Hey, I'm doing kind of like a test, I think. But regardless, I got dressed up and I'm going to be going to the bank and make a few stops, like at Walgreens and Publix and stuff. But the money got transferred in this morning, I think. Um, so I just placed an order or whatever way they phrase it with Green Toe. Green Toe is basically an affiliate clearinghouse, and if you haven't used them, they're actually pretty good. So you pick out what you want, and you put how much you want to pay, and it's guaranteed to be in my case, a Sony USA product, free shipping, and it's supposed to be a brand new product. So I put in an offer of $1,950, and that is out the door, meaning that includes any taxes, shipping, any other thing. It's $1,950. So what they do is they will send uh, I don't know, an email maybe or something to whatever camera stores that are registered with them. And the company, them, is called Green Toe. So you could go to greentoe.com and you can see how that works. And so I put in the order for $1,950 because I got just under $2,000 available, like 1,995 or something like that. So I put it $50 under at 1,950. So besides that, I've been working with the Sony, and I've been having problems with it going black. Remember? I don't know if you guys were watching and you remember this or not, but I've fixed as much as I could possibly fix. It's still 1080, which is what you're looking at right now. So it's not black, and we'll see if it something goes to sleep. I don't know. That's what the purpose of this is to just spend a little time on the air and see what happens with the Sony. So I figured the only thing I really have to tell you is about the offer for the camera. So I did order, or I put the offer in for a white Sony, not an A, a Z. Boy, A to Z, from one end of the alphabet to the other. I never realized that. The Bible, Jesus says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the A to Z, the Aleph Tav. So that's the Jewish version, the Hebrew version of it. So the Alpha is, I don't have an Alpha camera here, but I did. I had the last camera that I had from Sony. I loved it. Oh my God, it was the A7S Mark III. And I was forced to sell it for whatever reasons. It was to buy the master for the Christmas album that I made for last Christmas, or the Christmas before. It's almost 2 years old. So that Sony A7S Mark III was fantastic. So Sony made another camera with that same sensor and full-size sensor and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like got intrigued, and then the features were like, you got to be kidding me, those kind of features are in that camera? No, you can't be for sure for real, right? But it was for real. So it's got an image stabilization that took it to the head of the class. I mean, the when this switches, the Panasonic S5 Mark II is considered to have one of the best image stabilizations built into a camera, and that's what you're watching right now. So when I take that camera out and go to dinner at your house or wherever I go, that's what I was taking. But you know what? The sucker is heavy, and it's not like new news to me. It's like all my cameras are similar. But when this switches in a second, there we go. Okay, so this is the E10. For some reason, 2 weeks ago, I took this camera to my brother's for dinner, and I said, oh my God, what a difference. it's so light. And Sly Reader, for those of you that know Sly, she kept telling me, Peter, the light cameras when you're out and about and you're like, she's chasing her grandson who's only 4 years old and stuff like that, it makes all the difference in the world. So I took the Sony to see. I figured, can't hurt. We don't do much when we go for dinner. It's like dinner and a movie. So what is there to take videos of, honestly? So I was so impressed. So I started looking and I said, oh, Sony's got the FX30. Sony has the A7 Mark IV. And the A7 Mark III was one of my favorite pictures from Sony. What an amazing! I kept that here, and it was the main camera in the Christmas room for a little over 2 years. And I'm thinking, like, boy, that's awesome. Now the E10 that I have also gives me a good picture. So eventually, I bought the A7S Mark III. It's a good size camera. It's 12 megapixels, but it puts so much stuff in there. But it's $3,800. And I think by now, they've been out so long that you can get them on sale. But when I heard that Sony put that same chemistry into the E1, I became intrigued. It was like, hello, E10. So I decided I'm going to look into this. And the more I looked into it, have you ever heard, if it's too good to be true, it probably is? Well, that's what I was finding with the E1. And I'm going like, well, this camera is too good to be true. It's got all the good stuff in it from the A7S Mark III. Okay. I'm a little skeptical, but I'll go with it. Okay. And then they added some features that for some strange reason doesn't show up in any other Sony camera. So they've come out with the A6700. They just came out with 2 new ones. What are they? A7C and the A7C Mark II and the A7R. So they're basically almost identical, except one is got their high resolution sensor in it, and the other one has got their low resolution sensor in it, or lower. Okay. So I started looking at the features, and I said, well, maybe the A7 Mark IV, because I loved that A7 Mark III. Nope, the A7 Mark IV doesn't have the dual ISO, which means if I get a lens, a small tiny lens, and it doesn't go below f4, that means your light is very restricted. So what's a guy to do? You got to raise your ISO up. Well, when you raise your ISO up, you get more and more noise. Noise is not something I like. But the E1 has dual ISO, and it's ISO 640. Guess what the other one is? It's ISO 12,800. So I could put an f4 lens on that, go out in the middle of the night, move it up to 12,800 or even higher, 25,000. And it's kind of like, ooh la la. So that intrigued me. Then the other thing is you could set a button where you turn this button on. And if you got like a parent and a child in your video or in your picture, or you've got you and a buddy, like when, Shane came here and he stood next to me. Sly came here and stood next to me. Lewis came and stood next to me. I know Justin came and stood next to me. Charles came and stood next to me. Well, it'll automatically make sure both of those faces are in focus. And I'm going like, that's weird. I've never seen that anywhere else. So is that for real? So I started doing a lot of research, and you get the basic, I don't want to be rude to them, but the shrills. They fly you out, or they send you a special camera ahead of time. So you're going to be extra nice when they do that. I know, honestly, I would. I mean, hi, Jim. Hi, David. Hi, Woody. I see you guys now. It just popped up here. Okay. Michael King. Hi. from my Canadian friend. So what he said, did you order the white one? Yeah, I put out that video, and it seems that the white one is the new silver, like the retro, you know, which I don't have a problem with the silver camera. I think they're kind of cool looking. But anyway, I don't want to change tracks. I wanted to tell you how I intelligently arrived at buying the E1. So I did a lot of research, and it seems that the big to-do, the big thing about the E1 is these guys all want to make a video about how the camera overheats. Because if you have a YouTube channel, you've got to make videos. And what are you going to do? Well, it's an easy target to say, oh, the new Sony E1 that just came out, it overheats, and maybe you shouldn't buy the camera. And remember, they're making this to get views. That's the whole point. So I started researching that because I don't want a camera that's going to overheat all the time, okay, honestly. But I did stumble on a couple of people. One of them, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but his name is Arthur R. That's the name of his channel. Very sweet, mild, young man. He's got a family. He's got 2 kids. I think he's got a faith system that's similar to mine, but I'm not sure, but I get hints. He's just very credible. And so I watched his videos, and that moved me over into the column, well, hey, maybe this camera is for real. Because I wasn't believing what I was seeing. There's too many things in that camera that are weird, okay? And when I say weird, I mean weird good, but I'm not quite sure I believe it. You know how they say, I'm from Missouri, you got to prove it. So when Arthur R. was talking about it, I believed him. And he was very honest. And there's another guy, and I can't remember what his name is, but his summary was, on some of these new cameras that overheat so easily, like the R8 and the, like my friend Justin from Baby Back Maniac and his new channel, Baby Back Maniac Leftovers, if you pre-warm up the camera in a precise way, in other words, it can't be haphazard. So bring it so it becomes hot, you get a warning, or just run it for a while, then shut it off for exactly 15 minutes, and it acclimates. It's kind of like preheating your oven. So I know that Justin has done that, and I know this other guy has done that. Actually, his video, I'm sorry, I really don't know the guy's name. He shows, and here's my recipe. You take one Sony ZV-E1, you preheat it in the oven, and he puts it in a pan, and he puts it in the oven, and then he puts a disclaimer. Do not put your camera in the oven, because I'm going like, oh my God, people are going to do that. They're going to put their camera in the oven. And then he did the disclaimer eventually. I'm going to steal that from him. Here's how I keep my camera from overheating. Here's the recipe. You put it in an oversized dish, you put it in the oven, and I'll show a video of it going in the oven, but I'll have to have a disclaimer because I don't want somebody to sue me and say, I put my camera in the oven like you said. It's a joke, okay? And his was a joke. But he was getting hours and hours with the ZV-E1 after he preheated it. So I'm going, maybe this will work for other people that they got their problems. So I arrived at the A7 Mark IV, and what knocked it out of the park for me is I want a very, very light camera, and I want full frame 60p. I don't really use it, so don't be thinking, oh, he uses the 60p, because I don't. However, if I shoot in 24p, here's a secret. It's a secret recipe, and there's no oven involved, okay? But it is really good. I should make a video about this. If you shoot 24p and you use 24p as your timeline in whatever software you're using when you edit your stuff, and if you take a 60p video and drop it on that 24p timeline, and then you actually reduce the speed to 40%. I'm not saying reduce it by 40%, you reduce it to 40%. That footage looks like it's 120 frames per second, perfect, no stuttering. And because you recorded it in 60p, for those of you know a little bit about editing, you could detach your audio so your audio doesn't become like the chipmunks, okay? And you can trim it up, and it's like magical. It really is. So I'm going to do a video and show me doing that if I can get that done. So 24p and 60p marry together. So that's how you can use 60p as one of the tools in your arsenal. You know, take a camera, pretend this is a camera, okay? Just pretend. All right, so I'm videoing me now. Hey, I'm the talking head. This is Peter Gregg. I'm talking to you. Let me show you the camera I'm using. And now I'll turn it around. As I'm turning it around, I'll hit the stop button, okay, on the camera, not on the phone. This is a prop, okay? So I will hit the stop button. Then I have my C1. I have that set to 24p. But C2, I have that set to 60p. So I will change it to C2 and hit the record button again and hit and just keep on rolling as if there was no interruption. And that's the camera that I'm using. Let me show it to you. And oh, I got a new microphone over there. And oh, I got some people are sitting there waiting to have lunch with me. And then I'll hit the stop button, flip it back around to me, change it back to C1, hit the record button, and when you get loosened up to do that, the flow is perfect, okay? So guys, that is the new camera, and I am talking to you live, blah, 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 and then I will end that vlog. So now I have my regular A roll, and I've got my B roll, and all I got to do is put it together, and I got audio for both tracks. So I'm thinking with the E1, that's going to be a breeze. So yeah, it does have the memory presets. So it's got a whole bunch of things that even the A7S Mark III that I had doesn't have them. It doesn't have some of those features. So this camera seems to be a little bit too good to be true. And that's why I watched some people, and I can't believe everybody, but when I saw Arthur R., he's very, he's a beautiful person, okay? That's all. I don't know him. I've never spoken to him. I've never emailed him, but he just comes across like a beautiful human being. So when I want to see if something's true, I will check out if he made a video on it, and it will tell me. So I do see that people are in here. I didn't mean to ignore you guys. I just wanted to see if this camera's going to black out. So Michael, hi guy. I love you. Thank you for coming in. All the way up from Canada. That was a long flight, huh? E10 is still hot. Hasn't turned black yet. I don't know how long it takes for it to do it. So I'm just mumbling along. It's my afternoon delight. Okay, David is here. 365 days of surfing. He's saying hello. New cameras are so much fun. Well, David and anybody else that prays, pray that the Gold Toe will accept my offer of $1,950 shipped out the door. Because then I'll have a white, brand spanking new white E1, and I'll be able to share what the overheating stuff is really about. I'll know if Arthur R. was telling me the truth, and the other gentleman. If I find the other gentleman, it'd be nice. I'll put a link to both of them because I like doing that. I like sharing people, you know, because I like somebody to help me with my channel too. So, you know, what's that good old saying that Confucius say or whatever, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. So Jim is here. Hi, Jim. How you doing? Hi, Peter. I have an Alpha. I know you have the A7 Mark IV. I was very attracted to that camera. And you know why? Because my A7 Mark III was astronomically good. So I did bypass it because of the features. And if you kind of want to know what those features are, look at the video I put up on the big screen. There's no other Sony camera that has those features. And on most of those features, there's no other camera that has it. The dynamic image, and that surprises me. I got a run-on thing going in my mind. Why did they put all that just in the one camera? The A7 Mark IV should have it. The A7S Mark III should have it. The A7C Mark II. My God, that camera came out after the E1. I was eagerly waiting for that camera because I figured, oh my gosh, if it has everything that the E1 has, I want it. But it doesn't. It doesn't have the dual ISO. Doesn't have dynamic image stabilization. It doesn't have where you can focus a number of people automatically and you don't have to worry. You know, if Jim Mundy was sitting here with me and he was standing in front of me or behind me, the camera's got to automatically make sure that Jim's face is in focus and my face is in focus. You got to admit that's an amazing feature, right? And it's got the gyro, which the other ones do. Okay, so it's got that, but the other ones do not have dynamic image stabilization. Dynamic image stabilization pretty much eliminates the need for a gimbal. So if I want a light camera that I could take into a restaurant, I'm not looking to take a gimbal with me. I'm looking for a small light camera. The E1's the only one that does it. It's crazy. So anyway, I placed the offer, as they call it. So I wanted to come down and say hi. So Woody's here. How you doing, Woody? Good to see you. I think about you often. I was going to say every day, but almost every day. When I see the new pictures from you, it warms my heart because you're out there doing pictures. I need to find some place to go where I could do something to take some pictures. I think the channel would benefit, and I think personally I would really enjoy it. I think I enjoy it because I'm into cameras, and what do cameras do? They take pictures. So did you order the white one? Yes, I ordered the white one. I can't phrase it like that, Woody, because I use the company called greentoe.com. Okay, so greentoe.com, and the way they work is they have a network of mom and pop shops, and they will collect an order. Oh, you do have to place your credit card with them. They don't charge until it ships, but they want to know you are for a real person. So they're not going to bother a mom and pop camera store in Virginia or in Pittsburgh or wherever, whoever signed up with them, unless they have a credit card on hand. So you do have to put the credit card in. At the beginning, that was kind of like, oh, I'm not so sure I like that. But I bought from them 3 times. All 3 times I have won the offer. The offer was accepted. So I don't have a problem with the credit card being in there. So I made the offer for $1,950. So the camera is $2,299, $2,300. So plus tax. And on some places the shipping is free. On some places it's not. Like Adorama's got the free shipping, but you get a hefty tax, which is 7 times is 7% here in Dade County, Miami-Dade. Times 22 is like $165, $107, almost $200 in taxes. I don't know what the tax is in New York. I don't know if I'll get charged Florida tax or New York tax. Anyway, I wanted $1,950 out the door with tax, with shipping, brand new Sony warranty, all that kind of good stuff, including the charger, the battery, and all that. All right, so I put the offer in. You guys that do prayers, if God says okay, let the offer be taken. Okay? So yeah, I ordered the white one. David, I'm about to start my stream. I'll talk to you later. You've been hot with your streams lately, David. What are you doing? You're doing good. I'm proud of you. So, I'll catch you later, David. Jim says, about to go through security on my way to Austin. Hope the ATM 10, the ATM Mini and the E10 behave. Well, you'll know when you arrive. Go find this and go to the end. At the end, it'll be Panasonic only, or I'll just end it if we go black, okay? FJM Photo. Hi, Peter. How you doing, FJM? Good to see you here. Love you. Love all you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. This is an impromptu stream. Doesn't mean anything to anybody. It's not scheduled. I'm just testing, and I'm sharing what I did this morning. You know, you get kind of excited when you place an order, so I wanted to tell you. Can I get any more simpler than that? Jim says, I'm a big fan of Arthur R. Not as big of a fan as I am of Peter Gregg. Arthur R., I don't want to get mushy, okay, but he just, you get a confidence in him. His face is a little bland. He doesn't have the facial expressions, like I do a lot more facial expressions than he does, okay? But his character speaks integrity, and I appreciate that. I really do. So I've never watched a video of his where he was just making a video so he can make content. And if he did, he hit it very well. All right. So I just trust him. I'd give him a hug. Let's put it that way. There's other guys out there that I wouldn't hug them. I don't even think I'd shake their hand. There's some that I don't even like. But some would get a fist bump. Some would get a handshake. Arthur R. would get a hug. Okay. I just like the guy. And the fact that he's got 2 kids, you know there's a sense of responsibility in his heart. If you've got children, either you're a crappy parent or you understand that the kids come before you. It's just part of being a parent. And some people can't handle that. They're first. They're almost like a Karen, but not quite. And some of them do become a Karen. But anyway, I'm singing the praises of Arthur R. here. And I've never met the man. I've never even emailed him. I don't even think I've ever made a comment. Bad Peter. But I did subscribe, okay? And I do check on his links because that's the way you reward a YouTuber. You use their links and you create some kind of activity on their channel. You do a thumbs up or you make a comment or you do both. That helps a YouTuber. So thank you, Jim, for telling me that you like Arthur R. That's good. Woody's saying hi to Jim. He's probably boarded on a plane. You left Richmond on a beautiful day. Well, there you go. So that's where Woody is. He's in that Virginia area. I'm in the Miami area. Randy is in the Austin area, or is it Austin? No. Can't remember the city. Maybe he doesn't want me to say it. Okay. So that's where he's going. And if you fly, Jim, if you fly over Randy and Justin's house, because they were both in Texas, just wave. Jonathan is here. That would be pretty great. I agree. I agree with you. And he's giving, what is that? I can't see it from here. Oh, it's a camera. Okay. I'm going to be 70 years old in a few weeks. My eyes. I should go and get them checked. Woody says, Arthur R. and his family are super nice people as far as I can tell. That's the way I feel. I really feel, and I don't want to find out otherwise. You know how you warm up to somebody and then they disappoint you? I've had that happen many times. But Arthur R. seems very solid. So I guess today is the Singing the Praises of Arthur R. Day. And I'm so sorry that I don't know the name of the other guy because he's the one that came up with the recipe. And Justin, got to give credit where credit's due. Okay, Justin, Baby Back Maniac Leftovers, of pre-warming the camera. So Justin did it with the R8. And this other unnamed gentleman did it with the, what's the, the E1. Let's see. I think I might have sent it to someone. I'm only doing this because the guy was so nice, and I really want to give credit to that person. And I guess I'm just not going to do it. Nope, I don't have it listed. How about if I look at my YouTube? How about my history? Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, history. I'm just reading. I was on a Bee Gees binge. They were performing live, so I've got a lot of Bee Gees. There's Arthur R. His thoughts on the E1, and then he's got a couple of more. That's not it. That's not it. I know. Oh, I found it. Isn't it nice when you find it? Okay. His name, the name of his channel, I don't know what the gentleman's name is. You're going to have a pencil and paper for this one, honestly. But the good thing about this is it's recorded, so you can go back and watch it. But he's the one that introduced me to the preheating of the camera. Okay, so his channel is Kurios, so Kurios Creative Media. Kurios with a K, Creative Media. I'll find that and I'll put it in the link just to be really nice to the guy because he actually helped me. So that's the way I can, give him a good pat on the back. All right, well, the E10 has lasted. Carlos is here, back to the plaid shirt. I just got dressed. I'm going to the bank to straighten something out, and I'm going to stop at Walgreens. So pray for me, Carlos. You know the anxiousness that happens when I drive. So I'm dressed, and I figured I'll calm myself down and come and do a live stream first. That'll get my mind. So if I get my mind off of things that makes me anxious or panicky, it kind of diffuses the situation. So this is it. This is it. This is what it's being used for. So what he says, if you want to take photos, find a high school and take volleyball, basketball, and baseball. It will keep you busy. All right. I have the impression that they don't like you taking pictures of kids. So tell me how that, will I get thrown out? Why is this old man with a camera? Is he coming to be a perverted person with the children? That kind of scares me, So, but I would love to do that. You know why? Because 4 blocks away, 5 blocks, is a high school. Honestly. So that would be cool. I'll look into it. Maybe I could just call the school and ask, can I come take pictures? I get new cameras all the time. And the kids can have any of the pictures that I take. Okay. You should try your new camera at the beach photographing wildlife. Well, it's 30 minutes to the beach, so unless someone takes me, I'm not going there. It's just part of what happened to me when I got older. I can't drive long distances from my house. It's, let's call it a handicap, okay? But I don't say it very much because it's kind of embarrassing. What can I tell you? So, Carlos is still with me. That's unusual. Great idea, Peter. Go to Walgreens with a purpose. Exposure therapy unto the Lord. Amen. And you pray for me. Amen twice. So that's what I did. Now I'm calm, because I've deflected my mind. Carlos understands this. Some of you other guys would know. What the hell is he talking about? So I've made my mind go on another track. So when I finish here, I'm going to get in the car. I got to pick up my prescription there, and the bank is right there. So I will be able to do that. The only sad part of the whole thing is Wendy's is on the same lot. And if it wasn't for my eating regimen, I would get a single with cheese, with everything except, no. I hold the cheese and I hold the mayo because they use lousy cheese and lousy mayo. I add cheese and mayo here. That means I get real whole 100% cheese, not the fake processed stuff. And the mayo that they got, I think, comes out of who knows what. It doesn't taste the same as my Duke's. And I would get the fries and I would get the chocolate frosty. But none of that is on my eating regimen. So when I get back, I will have a chocolate high protein keto smoothie. And it actually satiates me. All right. So that should do it. How long have I been going? I've been going 35 minutes. I think the E10 would have blacked out by now. I can't think of anything else to talk about and keep you interested. Oh, Woody made a comment. Every parent has a camera or a phone at the games. I have never been questioned. My schools are all Christian schools, though. All right, so this is a public high school, but there is a Catholic school that I don't even know if they have a court. So, is this during a game? Oh, Publix has the Duke's Mayo, buy one, get one free. Sold. That's the one that I get. Thank you. So, I'll take that, and I'll, because it has almost no carbs, which means I try to stay low in sugar, all right? So I take that, and I've learned to doctor it up. And because mayo, if you have it for 4 months in a row, gets boring. So there's two things I use. One has got no carbs, and that's mustard. So I'll add just a few dribbles of mustard. And the other is kind of like cheating, okay? I use the Chick-fil-A sauce. Now, that does give you 3 grams of sugar for a tablespoon. So that's okay. 3 grams. I try to limit myself to 20. And I'm doing really, really, really well with my weight. So on the coloring, as I'm looking through here, the S5 Mark II looks wonderful with the coloring. Okay. The E10 looks like it's a little bit oversaturated. But I'll play this back, and all I have to do is bump the saturation down by 1 click if I find it too saturated. So it looks a little bit too much saturation here. Now that's the point. I don't use this as my go-to for coloring. I actually use, believe it or not, the iPad, because that gives me a good idea of the experiences for a lot of different people. Phones, desktops, cameras, not cameras, you don't watch on a camera, TVs, the iPads, the one from Samsung. So the iPad is kind of like my happy middle of the road. So when I watch this back, I'll make some changes on that. So Woody says the Duke's mayonnaise was born in Richmond. I wish to God they would make a mayonnaise, and I know they do, but I don't like it, okay? That doesn't use soy, because men or anybody should not use any seed oils. It's not good for your health. It's got nothing to do with the low carbs or the low sugar. That's why I can and do have the Duke's mayonnaise. It's like less than 1 gram, okay? It's almost no carbs. However, the ingredients, if you look at the ingredients, they're not healthy for your heart. And at my age, I've moved over, that started my low sugar was heart healthy foods. So that's why. So if you know good old Duke, go in there and say, you know, I got a friend named Peter. He would like you to switch out the soy mixture that you're putting into your mayonnaise. Make it taste just as good, but make it heart healthy. So if you know Mr. Duke, then do that. Drive over there. Maybe you can do a headshot of him. All right, guys. It seems like I'll test it out on Friday night, and we'll know for the long period how it's doing. I do have the flippy screen open, but I did not open the battery on the bottom. Ooh. Okay. Anyway, I'm not getting the black screen, and I've been live 40 minutes, a few seconds short of 40 minutes. So I'm thinking by now it would have blacked out, or the ATM Mini would have blacked out. The plant smells yummy when you drive by. Oh, we've got one. We got the wholesome. I don't know if you've got wholesome bread up there, But the Wholesome Bread Factory is, I would say, close enough when the wind is right. It smells like warm, fresh baked bread. It is so good. Honestly, it makes me feel like going and eating a loaf of bread. So I know what you mean. When you drive past the factory, if it smells good, it just opens up your appetite crazy. Jim, aren't you on the plane? I don't like mayo, but still root for Dukes. Where do you post your photography, Woody? I gotta get out there. Well, I can help you with the answer, but he might answer too. He's got a Facebook, and it's called Woody Mallory. And because he's got a grand boy, Luke, and a granddaughter and a grandson, and they're both involved in sports. Luke is in anything that moves. He's in it. That's his sport. And now he went to college, so I think Woody is going to lose his all-star for his camera. But Carly is his other grandchild, and that's his granddaughter. And she's active too. Soccer. I don't know. Was Carly active in basketball? Anyway, he's got her, and so it's wonderful when you got grandkids and you could watch them play out in the courts, and you're proud of them, you love them, they got the safety of having their grandpa there. It don't get no better than that. It really doesn't. So back to what Jim says. Well, now that I'm doctoring it up, you're not on keto, correct? So, or low sugar. So you could get some mayonnaise. You could give it a good squirt of honey. You can give it a good squirt, not too much. Do a little bit of the yellow mustard or the Dijon mustard and start stirring it around. And if you like honey mustard, you just made it. You just made your own. Okay? So what are you saying? Carly is the every sport grandchild. So she's in everything. Okay. Carly, you're an awesome granddaughter. You're amazing. You got to tell me when her birthday is so I can sing happy birthday for her, too. I think I sang happy birthday for Luke once, didn't I? Well, if I didn't, just let me know when their birthdays are. People love to see their name, when you talk about them. And since it's your grandchildren, that's who I want to do that for. And like Sly's got her grandson. So that reminds me, I have to do a video for him. I'll do that as soon as I sign off before I go to Walgreens. All right, guys, we have we've hit the 40 minutes. So we're actually a few minutes longer, I think, than the longest span that I've done. So maybe it's a success, maybe it's not. I don't know. But as of right this minute, we have not turned black. And the last time I said that, it turned black while I was talking about it. So March 24th, it'll be a minute, right? I don't know if you use that. I know Oklahoma uses that. It'll be a minute before Carly's birthday comes up. So what month are we in? September. When you get old, they ask you, who's the president? What's today's date? Who's the vice president? Well, I don't think I can tell you who the vice president is because I don't really know how to pronounce her name very well. But I know who the president is, and I don't like him. I'm not going to make any beefs about him. But I'm watching him get old, and it's sad to watch. And I don't think the media should play on that. He can help the fact that he's an idiot, okay? But he can't help the fact that he's getting old. His eyesight might be getting worse. Maybe the muscles in his legs are getting worse. He's walking like Tim Conway, little baby steps. That is getting old, okay? They can make fun of him because he makes asinine, poor decisions. Can you tell I don't like the guy? Okay. They can make fun of him because he acts like an idiot sometimes. But if he stumbles, okay, or if he can't remember something, that's not open game, okay? Because you're making fun of all the elderly. But they'll take any advantage to shoot you down. I mean, if you look at the liberal sites, you know, they'll say why Trump doesn't think he's going to jail. Seriously? You know, they're spinning it in the worst way possible. And that is just the state of our country today, and it's a terrible thing. And I think it's the news media's fault, because they're trying to show the newer kids that are coming up what's acceptable. And it wasn't acceptable when I was younger. I was going to say when I was a kid. Never mind when I was a kid. How about just a few years back, like when President Clinton was there? Things weren't acceptable back then, but the guy was a good guy, you know. But I would never vote for him, and I would never vote for Hillary. They're the exact complete opposites to my platforms. So, got into politics. Bad Peter. That camera is a little bit higher. I could lower it if I wanted to. I might lower it a little bit. I don't know why it's not lower. It's a little bit too high. I have to look up to it. This one is straight on. Okay? That one is straight on. When I look at you, I feel like I'm looking you right in the eye. It's like a perfect height. The E10 is a little bit high. Maybe I was trying to get fancy. Who knows? I'm going to lower it down. Woody says it's sad to see the president not salute the military. Well, see, that's open game. That is open game. You can make fun of him. You could say he's an a-hole for doing that. Those are the guys that put their life on the line. Doesn't matter who the president is, okay? If someone's got to have to go die to enforce our freedom, that's them. So if he's not saluting, did he forget because of his old age? Or is he being a jerk, jackass, idiot? Can you tell what I think? You know, Peter, you should really say what you think, you know? So, oh, I skipped Carlos. No more missing frames. It looks good. Yeah, it does. It's looking good. The only thing I need to do is lower it down a little bit. If I look at the other camera and it's a side view, it's not bad, honestly. But if I turn and I decide I want to look at it and raise the number of seconds because I want to talk longer, it's a little uncomfortable, you know. So I'll work on that. Not a big deal. All right, guys. We have exhausted it. I really can't wait to run over to the computer and see if my offer was accepted right now this very minute. All right. You'll be the first to know, honestly. Peter, Greg, Miami, Florida. Thanks for coming in on an impromptu Monday morning. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week. Love each and every one of you. Bye. Bye-bye.